Merthyr Tydfil was the Silicon Valley of the industrial era. The technological innovations created here changed the entire world forever. The legacy of this innovation can still be seen in and around the town and could form the foundations of a drive to make Merthyr an international visitor destination and fantastic place to live and work. The industrial Merthyr design charrette brought together townspeople, architects, artists and policymakers to create an exciting vision of Merthyr's bright future.
What you've got in Merthyr is you've got some wonderful historical physical assets, right, that are underdeveloped and undersold, and somehow we've got to change that. And I think the task really over the next few years is to close that gap between its real international significance and the way it's actually perceived in the outside world. And I think this event today is really about finding the ideas actually that will enable us to do that.
We've got a cross-section of people coming here today from the architecture world, from the heritage world, cultural world, and all of them come together into a bit of a melting pot. It's like a furnace, fusing everybody together to come up with some great ideas for the future of the CYFARTHA heritage area in general.
A charrette brings together people with a diverse set of skills and backgrounds to generate new ideas and encourage bold thinking.
Do we look at making this the most sustainable place in terms of energy generation?
There are fantastic opportunities.
The aqueduct be recreated from the reservoir as a wonderful water slide carrying visitors from one place to another.
There's been a lot of talk about how we can convey the story of Merthyr, the history of Merthyr. You sell the story and where it's come from.
We've got to use the past actually as a springboard to a future existence. But the essential thing is not to think small, to think big, to think quality, to think scale. You know, that's the way you can actually transform the place.
Because that's significant, that aqueduct.
Yeah. So why not aim high? Why not be ambitious? We were talking about the regeneration caused by the Eden project, the distance that people would travel, the Guggenheim of Bilbao, and just that regenerative effect that a world-class destination could have upon a community. So we were looking at the concept of it being the Sistine Chapel of the Industrial Revolution. So we looked at creating a world-class destination, CYFARTHA, for arts, heritage and education. Which would then be used as a platform throughout the wider town to create festivals and art installations, which would attract world-class artists to this town.
We've got these places we want to connect across the river. So at the moment in Merthyr, you've got quite a fractured town, and that is partly due to physical features such as the river, but it's also due to man-made features such as the road. So we thought about opening up the river corridor and actually making that barrier an asset that would be a wonderful place to walk and cycle, for example, but also then looking at the road and not seeing that as a fixed constraint, but actually, you know, what about if you landscaped over that road and you kind of took away that barrier completely and actually opened up real opportunities for people to walk and cycle the short distance into and out of Merthyr to access the countryside.
What we looked at was the 200th anniversary of the Merthyr Rising. So we looked at a full year's worth of events so that there would always be something on in Merthyr. We looked at a range of things from sport to culture to the arts. And we came up with a timeline of all these events and how they might fit together and integrate together and the types of people that they might appeal to. Well, the idea was that that year's worth of events would create a sense of buzz and a sense of excitement about the town and make the town known on a wider stage for all these activities and events and exciting things that are happening.
CYFARTHA Castle has an amazing potential to be redeveloped and to form the heart of a vibrant community. It's a listed building, but the fact that it's listed shouldn't be seen as an impediment to its development and to its repurposing and reuse as the heart of the community. Its location in the middle of the town, but also Merthyr's location in the middle of South Wales, puts it in an ideal position to become a real focus for the local community.
For me, the most important thing is that it is big and bold. Have a bold idea, even if you approach it gradually.
One of the tragedies, I think, around Merthyr is there have been a host of ideas over the years that simply haven't been implemented. But what we've got to think about now is there has to be an overall vision into which all these pieces of the jigsaw fit.
I would say what really is vital for any development is that there should be a social vision that comes from the place, and therefore components like museums, cultural activities, tourism, resources, things like that, are all supporting the social vision.
Well, after today, what we've got to make sure doesn't happen is that these ideas just fizzle out. We've got to make sure that we get people together. We keep doing this. We're going to find some really top-class artists, architects, people that want to get involved in this project. We've got to keep it on the boil, basically.